Hello YouTube, it's Shadow Hero 90, and on this episode of Shadow Reviews, I'm going to be reviewing Lego Batman DC Superheroes. A lot of this movie is very similar to the very first Batman movie. In fact, the opening credits are more or less a 100% recreation of the opening credits of Batman the movie. Almost down to the name of the director, John Burton. He has the exact same last name as Tim Burton, the director of the very first Batman movie. They even go so far as to play the theme song for Batman the movie, as composed by Danny Elfman, several times throughout the course of this film. Now, the movie starts off with Batman and Superman invading LexCorp and being easily defeated by both Lex Luthor and the Joker. We then get a title card that reads 2 days earlier, showing us what led us to this point. It begins in Gotham City. It begins in Gotham City, with Lex Luthor's arrival to the Man of the Year Awards, having shown up in this big fancy limo. But he's then shown up by billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne, and right before Bruce Wayne steps out, we actually get somewhat of a gag to show how much larger Bruce Wayne's limo is than Lex's. Pretty much to establish that Bruce Wayne has a lot more money than Lex and is far more successful. After some witty small talk, we are about to find out who won the Man of the Year award. And right before any name is said, Lex Luthor instantly stands up. Something that defines him as an egomaniac, as he instantly assumes that he defeated Bruce Wayne in this competition. But Lex instantly sits down and slams his fists on the table the minute he found out that Bruce Wayne won the Man of the Year award and not him. Something that kinda shows that, yeah, Bruce Wayne deserves this award way more than Lex. Unlike Lex Luthor, Bruce Wayne never broke the law once, while on the other hand, Lex has done so several times and is only a free man and running for President of the United States because, well, he bribed his way to freedom. Bruce even shows what a good sport he is about this by patting Lex Luthor on the shoulder and saying, "Next year, buddy," which is more or less in line with Bruce Wayne's playboy persona, because he knows that Lex Luthor is never gonna win that award or the title. Bruce Wayne begins his speech saying that he doesn't deserve the Man of the Year award, when really he does. He can't really say the reason as to why he personally feels that he doesn't deserve the Man of the Year award. Bruce Wayne was halfway through his speech when suddenly the lights go out and it's clear that the Joker has arrived to rob the Man of the Year awards. The bat suit for this movie aside, well, it's not just that. A lot of this movie is very similar to the very first Batman movie. In fact, the opening credits are more or less a 100% recreation of the opening credits of Batman the movie. Almost down to the name of the director, John Burton. He has the exact same last name as Tim Burton, the director of the very first Batman movie. They even go so far as to play the theme song for Batman the movie, as composed by Danny Elfman, several times throughout the course of this film. Now, the movie starts off with Batman and Superman invading LexCorp and being easily defeated by both Lex Luthor and the Joker. We then get a title card that reads 2 days earlier, showing us what led us to this point. It begins in Gotham City. With Lex Luthor's arrival to the Man of the Year awards, having shown up in this big fancy limo. But he's then shown up by billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne. And right before Bruce Wayne steps out, we actually get somewhat of a gag to show how much larger Bruce Wayne's limo is than Lex's. Pretty much to establish that Bruce Wayne has a lot more money than Lex and is far more successful. After some witty small talk, we are about to find out who won the Man of the Year award. And right before any name is said, Lex Luthor instantly stands up. Something that defines him as an egomaniac, as he instantly assumes that he defeated Bruce Wayne in this competition. But Lex instantly sits down and slams his fists on the table the minute he found out that Bruce Wayne won the Man of the Year award and not him. Something that kinda shows that, yeah, Bruce Wayne deserves this award way more than Lex. Unlike Lex Luthor, Bruce Wayne never broke the law once, while on the other hand, Lex has done so several times and is only a free man and running for President of the United States because, well, he bribed his way to freedom. Bruce even shows what a good sport he is about this by patting Lex Luthor on the shoulder and saying, "Next year, buddy," which is more or less in line with Bruce Wayne's playboy persona, because he knows that Lex Luthor is never gonna win that award or the title. Bruce Wayne begins his speech saying that he doesn't deserve the Man of the Year award, when really he does. He can't really say the reason as to why he personally feels that he doesn't deserve the Man of the Year award. Bruce Wayne was halfway through his speech when suddenly the lights go out and it's clear that the Joker has arrived to rob the Man of the Year awards. Not only Joker, but most of the Arkham Rogues show up to rob the Man of the Year award. Lex Luthor actually takes notice of the supervillains in Gotham. Bruce Wayne quickly runs out of the building and begins changing into Batman. In the ensuing chaos, the Joker steals Lex Luthor's his watch, and they do have the dialogue where Lex thinks he wants to shake hands and says he doesn't want to get joy buzzed. The Joker jumps on stage and begins to make a speech as if he actually did win the Man of the Year award. But at that exact moment, Batman busts through the wall in the Batwing, ready to beat down the Arkham Rogues. He crashes the Batwing directly onto one of the tables, forcing the Arkham Rogues to scatter. And I gotta say, the fight scene is amazing. Whether it's Batman beating up the Joker's henchmen, or other members of the Arkham Rogues, such as Riddler, Two-Face, and the Penguin. That combined with the Batman the movie theme in the background actually does kind of make me think that if Tim Burton had directed Batman Forever, this is kind of what it would look like in Lego form. The Joker actually does manage to get out of the building, and the Batwing is a bit damaged from the landing that Batman made. And with the Joker escaping by boat, it really looks like he might get away. Until Robin shows up in a helicopter that I don't really think was ever given a name. It probably would have been easier if they just used the Batcopter, but since Robin was the one piloting it, I'm pretty sure the writers thought this would be a better choice. Even though it would have been better if they named it the Robincopter or the Crimson Sparrow. I mean, in the Prime universe, Robin already had the Redbird, which was his equivalent to the Batmobile. I really don't think it would have done that much harm. Yes, this is just a nitpick, but they probably should have named this vehicle. Batman and Robin then soar off after the Joker. Joker tries everything he can to get the dynamic duo off his back, but nothing works. For everything the Joker is able to throw at Batman, the Dark Knight has a gadget to counter it. Even a remote control watch to summon the Batwing to his location. Before the Batwing arrives, the Joker tries hurling sharks at Batman, to which Batman shows off how awesome and intimidating he is by literally scaring off a shark face to face. Batman just glares at that shark and the shark backs down. By the time the rope ladder finally breaks, it does not matter at all as the Batwing has arrived. Batman lands in it and doubles the odds that the Joker is going to get captured and sent back to Arkham. And here's where the Dark Knight pulls off a brilliant tactic. By essentially flying one of the wings of the Batwing into the water, he's basically able to use it to launch the Joker's boat into the air, as it then lands in a parking lot. Joker then tries to hit the Dark Knight with everything he has at his disposal, and it really looked like it worked until we find out that Batman put up the shields on the Batwing, which could easily be an allusion to the shields that were in the Batmobile in Batman the Movie, which is the film that this movie is going out of its way to emulate. And believe me, when I watched this movie over and over when I was a kid. That was one awesome feature for any car. Joker then throws 2 electric-charged cream pies at the Batwing, but surprise, surprise, it's completely ineffective. The Batwing fires a net with magnets attached that holds down the Joker, with him then being taken back to Arkham by the GCPD. Then, as the sun rises, Superman shows up, who did want to be there for Bruce Wayne winning the Man of the Year award. They talk. Superman tells them how he repaired all the damage that the Arkham Rogues had caused, and this scene exists to show how Batman isn't really that keen on accepting help from other superheroes. Superman flies off, and Batman and Robin go back to the Batcave. The scene then transitions to LexCorp, as Lex Luthor is going over the odds of him winning the election for president. His computer reveals that he is in last place, behind the 3 other people he's running against. So, when Lex sees, the news report about how the Joker was taken into custody, he thinks the Joker might be able to help him, and he starts by looking into the Clown Prince of Crime's criminal exploits. After seeing video footage of what Joker Toxin can do, Lex gets the idea in his mind that he could use it to win the presidential election in a landslide victory. But for that to happen, he would need to break the Joker out of Arkham Asylum, to which his computer informs him that the Justice League will interfere if he does that, and that Batman and or Superman are the members who are most likely to stop him if he breaks the Joker out of Arkham. So anyways, then the movie transitions to Arkham Asylum, where one of the guards is watching the news as well, and I really like the fact that the reporter in this broadcast is Clark Kent, aka Superman. They could have easily taken any character who's a reporter in the DC Universe and used them, or even made up an original character for this scene. But no, they used the Man of Steel for this because he does work as a reporter at the Daily Planet. Even though the Daily Planet is based in Metropolis and Arkham Asylum is in Gotham City, I still like it. And then the Joker, enraged about Clark Kent calling him the Goon of the Year, fires out a boxing glove on a spring, smashing the TV. Joker then hears a voice that's obviously Lex Luthor, offering him freedom as well as the chance to basically get revenge on both Batman and Gotham City. Lex then uses the Deconstructor to put a hole in the wall of Arkham Asylum, connecting Joker's cell to the outside world. Before taking his watch back, and this is something I really thought was genius writing, the Joker asks Lex Luthor if the bus to Metropolis broke down, to which we see the chopper in the background fly up, and Lex Luthor just looks at the Joker and says, "I don't take the bus." Which is something you would expect Lex Luthor to say, because this guy has done everything you could think of by the standards of the real world to be super. I mean, the guy's really smart, he owns his own company, he's really rich, he has broken the law, which brings him into conflict with Superman, but one of the things that Lex Luthor hates the most about Superman is that ever since Lex was a child, he knew that there was intelligent alien life all over the galaxy. And he hates that, well, the alien life in his city that comes from a civilization thousands of years more advanced than ours, more or less just looks down at him like he's basically just some petty crook. Then Lex Luthor tells the Joker that he's gonna need him to whip up some Joker gas to help him win the presidential election. And thus the deal is struck. The Joker will help Lex win the presidential election by means of Joker gas, and Lex will allow the Joker to use the Deconstructor to nullify Batman's gadgets and kill him. Lex and Joker escape, but as they do, Joker tears up Arkham Asylum, releasing a ton of the inmates. Whether he's doing this out of insanity or intentionally doing it to create a distraction for Batman and Robin, they never really say. We then transition to the Batcave, where Bruce Wayne has just entered and is receiving a call from Martian Manhunter, who's currently in the Justice League Watchtower. John wanted to check up on Bruce just in case of an emergency, but just then the Bat-computer informs Bruce of an emergency, i.e. the current breakout at Arkham Asylum. Bruce Wayne suits up into Batman. Tim Drake had already suited up into his Robin outfit, but he then tells Batman it's because he started sleeping in the suit. Well, Batman and Robin are on their way to stop the breakout at Arkham Asylum. Lex Luthor and the Joker have already begun raiding Ace Chemicals, and on their way out, the Joker starts throwing chemicals everywhere. Meanwhile, Batman and Robin arrive at Arkham Asylum to deal with the breakout. Remember how earlier in the movie they gave the Batwing shields because they're trying to replicate the first Batman movie? Well, before Batman and Robin jump in to fight both the Arkham Rogues and all of the Joker's goons that they beat up the previous night, Batman turns on the shields in the Batmobile. Yeah, they gave the Lego Batmobile shields just like its Burtonverse counterpart, which is something I really like. So anyways, back on track. Batman takes down the Joker's 3 henchmen with one hit using only a Batarang. Knowing that this was way too easy, Batman deduces that the henchmen were only meant to distract him and Robin, as they were now in for a fight with every one of their enemies that they had put in Arkham Asylum. Bane's mole machine busts through the ground along with Two-Face's car and Catwoman's motorcycle, and the chase begins. Batman is chasing down Two-Face, Riddler, and Harley Quinn. They tried to lose Batman in the sculpture garden, and Two-Face, playing into his own insanity, was determining which direction to drive in by flipping his coin. Batman then exploits Two-Face's weakness by stealing his coin. Without it, Harvey can't make a decision on anything, which causes them to crash. Robin is engaged in a motorcycle chase against Catwoman, And since he chased her into a maze, and since Robin knew the maze better than Catwoman, he was able to speed up, pop out right in front of her, and make it look like she was about to crash into him, only for Catwoman to make a quick turn, ride her motorcycle directly over a puddle at high speed, and crash. And now that I think about it, the idea of Robin fighting his opponent in a maze could easily either be an illusion or have been inspired by the Batman the Animated Series episode, If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? A Batman cartoon that did feature Robin being in a maze. Bane, Penguin, and Poison Ivy try to escape Arkham by tunneling underground in Bane's mole machine. But then, Batman swoops into the Batmobile, and we get our big car chase of the film. As Batman drives directly into the tunnel and continuously slams into the mole machine with the Batmobile. But when Batman cranks the pedal up to max speed, Bane loses control of the mole machine, sending it coming up right out of the ground and directly into one of the walls of Arkham Asylum. As the GCPD is arresting most of the Arkham rogues, Commissioner Gordon tells Batman and Robin that the only one that is unaccounted for is the Joker. While trying to figure out how the Joker escaped, Robin notices that one of the bricks is covered in radiation. Hearing that, Batman activates the remote tie-in to the Bat computer that's in his Batmobile and asks it to scan the residual radiation. The Bat computer tells them that the residual radiation comes from a weapon currently being built for the military by LexCorp. And with that said, all signs to who broke the Joker out of Arkham point to Lex Luthor. A cop runs up and informs Commissioner Gordon that a break-in has just occurred at Ace Chemicals, and Batman instantly deduces that, yeah, this is the work of the Joker. The scene then plays of the Joker making synthetic kryptonite, or so it would seem. Batman and Robin arrive at Ace Chemicals, and soon realize that the Joker had set a trap for them. By using acid on the ceiling and smashing a hole through it, Batman is able to get himself and Robin out of the building. But that doesn't stop the building from nearly exploding. And Batman and Robin are hurled off the building, but are then caught by Superman. But then Superman had to fly off to help the people of Mexico deal with a volcano in their country. Robin suggests that they ask Superman for help, but Batman instantly shuts that idea down, saying that they can't go through life expecting Superman to bail them out whenever things get tough. And he does kind of have a point. Can't rely on Superman for every single thing. I mean, if Batman and Robin were in a pinch and they needed Superman's help while he was, say, fighting Doomsday, I don't think him trying to help Batman and Robin out in that scenario would work very well, because it would involve him turning his back while he's in a fistfight against Doomsday. What I just said earlier was the first part of a two-sided point that Batman makes. Because after Batman asks the Batcomputer of all the things that the stolen chemicals could be used to make, the answer is kryptonite. And when Robin suggests that they go to Superman for help, Batman tells him that if they bring Superman into this fight with them, they'd only be putting him in danger. Because the villains have kryptonite, and one of the two villains is Superman's arch enemy. And I really like that about this movie, because Batman does make a good point. Well, two, actually. Joker and Lex are escaping in this train car tank thing when Batman is catching up to them in the Batmobile. Batman busts into the vehicle of the two evildoers, defeats them with only 2 hits, and steals the kryptonite from them. But then the Joker hits Batman with a electroshock joy buzzer, sending the Dark Knight falling out of the vehicle. The Batmobile drives up on autopilot and Batman jumps in. The Joker then uses the deconstructor to tear the Batmobile apart. Joker and Lex have escaped, but Batman did retrieve the kryptonite, or so it seems. Robin shows up to give Batman a lift back to the Batcave, but when the Batcomputer scans what Batman stole from the Joker and Lex Luthor, we find out that this is actually fake kryptonite. It would actually have no chance at harming Superman. Just to be on the safe side, Batman puts this piece of fake kryptonite into his lead vault with all of the real kryptonite, and when Robin asks him why they even have kryptonite, Batman's response is that he keeps it just in case Superman turns evil. Which is actually that's kind of an instance of Batman planning ahead. Batman is the humanity of the Justice League. I mean, he's the only constant member who's actually a human with no powers. And for anyone who read the storyline JLA Tower of Babel, you would know that Batman has all these different protocols and contingency plans in place should any member of the Justice League go rogue or switch to a life of crime. Most members of the Justice League are susceptible to mind control. The Green Lantern Corps they do enforce the laws of the universe, but they're kind of like the Guardians' personal army. If Earth ever rejected the will of the Guardians, yeah, they would need Batman's contingency plans. Wonder Woman literally comes from a society that hates men. So Batman's contingency plan on how to stop her would be useful in finding out how to stop a bunch of super-powered hate-mongers who want to kill every man in America. And if Atlantis ever went to war with the surface world, Batman's contingency on how to stop Aquaman would be something very handy should the U.S. military have the need to stop an attack from the army of Atlantis. There are people who would say Batman is in the wrong for creating these protocols, but if any of what I just said ever happened, Batman's protocols would literally save thousands of lives. So yeah, it would make sense that Batman would have this giant hoard of kryptonite. And the fact that he's protecting Superman and every other Kryptonian who's on the side of good by keeping as much of it as he can get his hands on locked up in a lead vault. Plus, it would come in... This never came up in the movie, but Batman having this much kryptonite would come in really handy if General Zod and his flunkies were to escape the Phantom Zone. As it turns out, the fake kryptonite had a homing device inside of it, which led Joker and Lex to the Batcave. So anyways, the Bat-computer then informs Batman and Robin that someone is breaking into the cave. Joker and Lex enter the Batcave. The Joker uses the deconstructor to tear up Batman's vehicles and gadgets left and right. The Joker uses the deconstructor to send the giant penny rolling towards Batman and Robin by destroying the black hinges that was keeping it in place, forcing the Dark Knight and the Boy Wonder to retreat. Joker uses the deconstructor to bring down the elevator by firing it at the elevator while inside the shaft. But this played to Batman's advantage. Now he and Robin can escape into Wayne Manor as the elevator comes crashing down, and when it hits the ground, it sends the Joker flying. Lex then demands that Joker help him find where Batman hid the kryptonite, but the Joker admits that he only knows that Batman has a stash of kryptonite, but doesn't exactly know where Batman put it. Because the Batcave is huge. For all they know, they could be standing right on top of it without even knowing. Another thing that makes this movie so good is when Lex is asking the Batcomputer, essentially, if it knows who he is, and it does know who he is, but it keeps bringing up the fact that Lex Luthor is a criminal, and it's clearly not going to tell him where Batman's kryptonite stash is. The Joker then removes a computer chip from the Batcomputer using the hand that he's got the electric joy buzzer on. And that gave them access to Batman's lead-lined kryptonite vault. And since the Joker had been throwing explosive pies at the wall, he and Lex don't have much time until they detonate. Robin suggests that they call Superman, and Batman this time has no objections, even though that could easily be a double-edged sword now that Lex Luthor has more kryptonite than he'd ever know what to do with. As the explosive pies in the Batcave detonate, the Joker and Lex Luthor escape with a massive amount of kryptonite. They leave in an aircraft and fly over Wayne Manor, and we get this hilarious joke about how obviously stupid Joker and Lex are, as they see Wayne Manor. They just flew over the Batcave, and they can't put two and two together. They're dumb and can't figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, even though Wayne Manor is above the destroyed Batcave. Superman arrives and flies Batman and Robin out of the ruins of the Batcave before the explosion caused by those pie bombs, end up killing the dynamic duo. In the torn-up Batcave, Superman puts out the fire using his super breath. Superman then just tells Batman that he should have told him that Lex Luthor was involved, and when Batman reveals that that safe that he's holding above his head was chock full of kryptonite at least 12 minutes ago, then, Superman instantly throws it to the other side of the cave. Which is why Batman didn't bring Superman in on this mission, because if he did, Lex would have instantly, he would have killed Superman. He would have had more than enough kryptonite to get the job done. Batman figures out that this is what the Joker and Lex were after the entire time. Batman's stash of kryptonite. They don't know what Lex's big plan is, so Batman comes to the only option they have. They're gonna have to confront Lex Luthor within his own territory. They're gonna have to go to LexCorp. confront both him and the Joker head on. And before said big confrontation, we get this really funny joke where Batman and Superman talk to Lex's receptionist, and they tell her that they're here to see her boss, and she has no idea who these two are, even going to the extent of asking them if Batman and Superman are first names or last names. And I guess it's funny because if superheroes were real, then they would need no introduction. Everyone in the world would know who these people are. And as it turns out, Luthor was expecting them, and the receptionist tells them where to go to find him. Well, yeah, Luthor would be expecting them because he knows that the world's finest would never back away from a fight, regardless of how much the odds are stacked against them. On their way up to fight the Joker and Lex Luthor, the Superman theme song plays on the radio in the elevator, and Superman comments that the song sounds familiar, but he can't really remember where he heard it before, and it's pretty much, yeah, a good meta joke because it's the theme song to his first movie. World's Finest then confront Lex and the Joker, who from the shadows they basically just immobilize Superman with a beam powered by solid kryptonite. Batman attempts to use the Bat Grapple to go on the attack, but it then jams and fires around him, keeping him, well, somewhat restraining the Dark Knight. Lex Luthor and the Joker then come out piloting a giant clown robot. With the heroes pinned down, Lex tells them his plan, that he's going to use the Joker gas that the Joker made for him to control the minds of all the voters in the United States so that they would vote for him and he would be elected president. Several times the Joker mentions the possibility of being vice president, but then stating that it wouldn't work. Now this is good as it's actually foreshadowing of a plot point that will come up later in the movie. Lex then says that they're going to start at Gotham City because that is where the most recent Man of the Year award was held, and he didn't win, even though he was a nominee. Lex Luthor cranks up the kryptonite beam to full power and seemingly kills Superman, while Batman's restrained, which isn't exactly an unreasonable statement, because there have been many situations in the comics where one or more of the Robins take up the mantle of Batman either because it's an alternate future where Bruce Wayne had died, or Bruce is just MIA at the moment. Lex drops a giant crate or tanker on Batman, seemingly killing him. And with Superman allegedly already having been killed due to kryptonite poisoning, Joker and Lex fly out of LexCorp in a giant robot that was designed to look like the Joker. But as it turns out, Batman and Superman had switched costumes, an actual tactic taken straight from the comics, and all of this was a ruse to find out what the Joker and Lex Luthor's big plan was. Batman and Superman more or less steal a vehicle that I think is supposed to be a helicopter from LexCorp to chase after Joker and Lex Luthor in an attempt to stop them. This is one of the scenes that shows how good that this movie truly is. Joker and Lex have both the Deconstructor and a massive kryptonite horde. And yet Batman and Superman are flying in regardless. They're true heroes. They're flying in to beat down the bad guys, even though they know that they could be killed. For all they know, this could be a suicide mission that would end in their deaths. But they go in fighting regardless. Truly, they are the world's finest, or in this case, the world's greatest heroes. Lex Luthor did knock down Superman and was able to shoot down the vehicle Batman was flying, but then Batman jumps out, fires his bat grapple, and grapples onto the giant robot as Superman catches up. Lex's alarm warns him that Batman is trying to bust in to the Joker mech. Lex Luthor gets out of the robot. Superman charges down, flying directly at Lex. But then he deflects Superman with a massive aura of kryptonite emanating from the Joker mech, which sends the Man of Steel falling to the streets below. Batman is able to pull one of the motherboards out of the robot, and Lex begins firing on him. But Batman dodges all of Lex's shots, and then jumps off the robot. Joker then calls for Lex as the motherboard that Batman ripped out of the mecha is causing it to fall from the sky. Batman does catch Superman before he hits the ground, but it's still a rough and bumpy landing. But then the giant Joker robot crashes directly into, in the middle of Gotham City. Minutes later, the Joker mech is up and running, and instantly begins spraying Gothamites with Joker gas. With no vehicles and Superman depowered due to kryptonite poisoning, the world's finest are forced to take a bus to get to the part of Gotham City they need to be to stop Lex Luthor's evil plan. We transition over to City Hall, where Lex Luthor is making a speech as the Joker douses the crowd with Joker gas. But then Lex Luthor finds out he's been double-crossed when the crowd starts chanting for the Joker and how they're going to vote for him in the presidential election. The Joker then tells Lex that the gas only works for him. And this was the scene that was being foreshadowed when the Joker asks if he could be vice president, and foreshadowed again when he eventually turns down the position. After revealing to Lex that he planned to betray him all along, Joker then offers him the position of vice president. But just before Joker and Lex are about to take off, a bus drives up and the world's finest get off of it, ready for a fight. And this is kind of why this version of Batman and Superman are so heroic. They're so honorable. They're willing to charge into a fight that they may not win. If anything, from their perspective, this is a fight that not only will they lose, but they will be killed. But Superman acknowledges this, telling Batman that he'll slow them down, meaning he knows how much kryptonite they have and would be willing to martyr himself so that he could give Batman the chance to bring Lex Luthor and the Joker to justice. Superman flew in, slammed into the Joker mech, and was slammed right into a wall, and then onto the pavement due to all the kryptonite. Batman is more or less hit with the deconstructor, which the Joker intends to use to kill him. He made that very obvious when he said that he was going to pull Batman apart, literally. When suddenly, Robin shows up in a newly constructed Batmobile that isn't black, therefore it is completely immune to the effects of the deconstructor, sending the beam backwards, hitting the Joker mech, and causing it to fall directly onto the ground. And Robin's face lights up when Batman tells him he did a great job. Batman and Robin then bolt off, and the Joker and Lex Luthor chase after them. And the chase begins. With each step, the giant Joker robot loses a little bit more of the kryptonite that was inside it. Robin mentions that they're making very little headway in losing them, but then Batman reveals that he's not trying to lose them, and that this Chase is all a part of his plan. Batman and Robin then pull up to where Superman is, and when he asks where they were, Batman tells him that he was getting help. The Joker mech then points its laser at Batman, as the Joker himself asks Batman if he has any last words, to which the sentence pretty much tells the Joker that he's on TV. Joker sees all the kryptonite that was dropped, which basically drew a picture of his face, which, yeah, that was Batman, which is exactly why Batman's big plan was a chase scene. The Joker likes what he sees, but Lex doesn't, as unlike the Joker, Lex can actually see the true meaning of why Batman tricked him into making this drawing. And that's the fact that the image of the Joker's face made in the chase scene is visible from outer space, and is at this point already been seen by someone in the Watchtower, and members of the Justice League are most likely on their way to Gotham City now to beat the ever-living crap out of them. So, now that they know that that's the case, Lex decides that he wants to smash the headquarters of Wayne Enterprises because he really does hate Bruce Wayne. And even though he doesn't say it, he is by no means over the fact that he lost the Man of the Year award to Bruce, because, yeah, this is Lex Luthor we're talking about. He cannot handle in any way being inferior to anyone, regardless of the circumstances, or whether it's a competition or a contest, or in this case a popularity contest. But yeah, it kind of shows how petty this guy is, as he lost the Man of the Year award to someone who gives all this money to all these different charities, while, yeah, Lex Luthor is a presidential candidate, but come on, at the same time, he picks a fight with Superman at least once a week, and not to mention all the times Superman has revealed what a crook Lex Luthor is. While Bruce Wayne, more or less, is a law-abiding citizen, Lex breaks the law on a weekly basis, possibly on a daily basis, then gets his butt kicked by Superman. So it's no wonder that Bruce Wayne won the Man of the Year award instead of him. The robot gets to work tearing apart Wayne Enterprises. The building begins to fall when Superman jumps in to keep Wayne Enterprises standing, but he's not at full power due to the kryptonite poisoning. Batman saves a grandmother and her grandchild from nearly dying as the Y from his building almost fell on them due to the building being attacked by Joker and Lex. Superman is not doing so well, and it looks like the building's gonna fall on him and kill him due to all the kryptonite poisoning. The Joker mech then climbs up Wayne Tower in the same way King Kong climbed up the Empire State Building. The Justice League assembles, and we get this joke where Batman says that he'll lead the way because he knows his way around the place. What they don't know is that he owns it, because he's Bruce Wayne. But I guess in this reality, the Justice League isn't exactly keen on sharing their secret identities with each other. Both the Justice League and the giant Joker mech make it to the top of the Wayne Enterprise building, and the final fight begins. Green Lantern creates a energy fist with his power ring and punches the Joker robot, which might be a callback to the death of the Joker in the climax of Batman the movie, but I don't really know, and I can't really be sure. The Justice League then jump off the rooftop to continue the fight against Joker and Lex. Cyborg breaks the Flash out of the robot's grip. Green Lantern creates a platform that Batman, Robin, Cyborg, and Flash jump onto as he flies up into the night sky, and the Joker mech crashes directly into the streets below with Lex Luthor and the Joker inside of it. The heroes land, but the Wayne Enterprise building is still falling apart. The Justice League then unite to keep said building from falling apart, but the Justice League has a fight to finish. A police car drives up to the thing and it smashes it, which is actually it's a really good scene to showcase that the Justice League are the only ones who can stop it. Not the police, not the government, only the Justice League. Cyborg blasts the Joker mech with a laser beam. Wonder Woman then trips it with her golden lasso. And Green Lantern creates a barrier around it with his power ring, but it's only temporarily immobilized. Batman then runs up to Green Lantern and tells him where the robot's weakness is, and throws an explosive batarang right onto it. Cyborg then fires another laser directly at the explosive batarang, causing it to detonate and creating an opening so that the Flash can run in, steal the kryptonite, run out, and store it inside of Wonder Woman's invisible jet. And because the giant Joker robot was literally kryptonite powered, it instantly fell onto the ground, defeated. Justice League saved the world yet again. Lex Luthor will be heading to prison, while the Joker will be sent back to Arkham Asylum. And because this is footage taken from a game, we get the same ending as that game, which foreshadows the sequel that would see Brainiac as the main villain. But since Lego Batman 3 did not live up to the standard set by its predecessor, the sequel to Lego Batman Superheroes Unite was never made. Even though, in my personal opinion, Warner Brothers should have made one.